5, 4, 3, 2.
Realtors, you're in the right spot.
We're going to do this together.
Welcome to the Leading Edge Podcast.
These mentors showed me a map of success.
This is the place for real estate pros like you to get better at running your business, balancing your life, and having happy clients.
Do you know how powerful you are?
And now your host, Eric Thompson.
What's up, everyone? It's your good friend Eric Thompson on the Leading Edge Podcast, episode number 97, called Worry Free. My friends, I'm making this podcast because there seems to be some worry out there in real estate land among my realtor friends. So that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to help you with right here today. My friends, life is good. Life is really good in the Thompson household. Lots of fun things happening. Summer is around the corner. School is going to be out soon, which means not just for our kids, but also for my wife, Julie. We got some fun things planned. And let's dive in, though, to helping you to be worry-free. All right. So again, I notice a lot of this right now, lots of worry out there among my realtor friends. What's causing that? Well, what's causing it is this combination of both change and uncertainty. Right, so the market has changed, the economy has changed, interest rates have changed, inventory levels have changed. I don't have to tell you any of that. And there's also just a lot of uncertainty about all those things, right? And really what's happening is that the media is putting extra attention on the uncertainty. It seems that they're kind of stirring the pot. As they do, I understand what they're in the business of doing, which is selling news. So they need to sell the news. They need to stir the pot. But this combination, again, of change and uncertainty is causing worry. And so here's the thing. From my perspective, based on all my experience coaching a lot of people, lots and lots of people, worry is a thing that will stop you. And you could even argue it is the one thing that will stop you if you're in a state of worry, if you're like immersing yourself in worry, if all you're focused on is what you're worried about and you're just spinning and bathing in worry, it will stop you 100%. Absolutely. I think about the metaphor, kind of the image of a little kid on a diving board. All right. And I'm not talking about like the high dive. I'm just talking about like a normal height diving board. You can probably picture the scene. Okay. So picture the scene. There's a little kid standing on the edge of a diving board. And where's the parent? The parent's in the pool, encouraging that kid to dive into the pool. And what's happening, the kid is not diving into the pool, right? The kid is standing there, kind of frozen, kind of scared. And really what's happening is that kid is worried, all right? So we've seen for sure plenty of kids just launch themselves right off the diving board. But oftentimes, when it's the first time that a kid's going to jump off a diving board, they are going to be reluctant to do it. They're going to stand there frozen. And the reason why is they're worried, all right? So what is that kid worried about in that moment? Well, that kid is worried about the unknown. That kid is worried about, is this going to hurt or not? What's this going to be like? Sure, I see my parent there in the water, but what's going to happen, right? So there's all this worry that causes the kid to be frozen up. And it really what's happening is that kid is not going to take action until the worry goes away, all right? So in that high state of worry, is that kid ever going to jump off the diving board? No, definitely not. So probably what's going to happen in that state of worry is that kid is going to turn around and walk off the diving board and say, no, thanks. And the parent, meanwhile, is going to feel frustrated and be like, oh, come on, you can do it. You're going to be fine. What are you worried about? But in that state of worry, the kid's either going to stay there frozen or is going to turn around and promptly remove themselves from the diving board. And they'll only go back and they'll only jump off the diving board if they're able to remove that worry. So if you are finding yourself in a high state of worry, you're just like that kid on the diving board where you're not acting, right? You're not doing the things, right? You're not diving into the actions that are necessary for you to take to move your business forward, right? So bottom line, that's a long way of saying worry is not helpful. Okay, worry is not going to get you the result that you want because in that state of worry, you're not going to do the things that will help you make progress toward the things that you want. So we have to solve for worry. Have you ever heard that line about worry? That really what it is, it's a prayer for what you don't want. It's a prayer for what you don't want. So when you're in that high state of worry, you're just praying for things that you don't want. Isn't that kind of a crazy way to think about it? So again, worry is not going to be helpful. Let me ask you this. As you think about things that maybe you've worried about in the past, recent past or a long time ago past, think about like the level that it was at in your mind, like the intensity that it felt in your head when you were worrying about it, right? And really letting yourself go and just really spinning in that worry. And let me ask you, did that worry come true? Or at least to the degree that you had like conjured it up inside of your head? Probably not. I would venture to say, and probably pretty much every single case, every single time you worried about something, it did not come true, at least to the degree that you thought it might come true, like the 2 a.m. version of yourself, making up like the worst possible story, the worst possible outcome. It probably didn't happen. All right. So I've thought about different times for me, like when I've worried about something, and one that popped up is when I started making videos, right? So when I really started my coaching and training in earnest, I had to make some videos. And what I was worried about is what people would think of the videos, right? I was really, really worried about that. And for a while that kept me from even starting them in the first place. I'm like, no way. I'm worried about how they're going to look, how I'm going to appear, what other people are going to think. So I'm just not going to do it. And so really what turned out, like the reality of that was people, I mean, there were plenty of people that liked them. And then on the other end of the spectrum was not hate. I was not finding people who hated them on the other end of the spectrum. On the other end of the spectrum, people were like indifferent. All right. So I had maybe at a time conjured up, oh my gosh, people are going to hate this and are going to like it. Well, that didn't come true. Like either they liked it or they were just indifferent. So let's look at the things that are not good to worry about, that we should not worry about. All right. So I always hesitate to like drop a bunch of shoulds on you, but I'm about to drop some shoulds on you. You should not worry about these things. All right. So a few things came up for me on the list of things to not worry about. Number one, what other people think. All right, let's stop worrying about what other people think. You know why we need to stop worrying about that? Is because we're not that important. Okay, we're really not important enough for other people to spend a whole lot of time thinking about us, worrying about us, judging us. Like we're just not that important. Because you know why? People are really wound up in who? In themselves. All right, so people are too wound up in themselves to put an over amount of focus on us and what we're doing or not doing. I mean, really the only people who are important enough, who like get that attention, where people do put a lot of energy into judging and commenting on and giving opinions about, would be like celebrities and politicians. All right. So, the past presidents that we've had, they get a lot of attention, certainly a lot of opinions about those people, because the president is important enough. And think about celebrities that find themselves in the spotlight for either good or bad reasons. Like people are going to think about those people, right? So they're going to think about celebrities, they're going to think about politicians. They're not going to think about you because you're just not that important enough, nor am I that important enough. So we're going to get over being worried about what other people are going to think of us. The next thing we're going to get over and we're going to stop worrying about is being perfect. Right? Let's stop worrying about being perfect, right? And thinking that we need to have everything exactly so and exactly in order for us to be able to move forward. Well, you know what? Perfection is just like not reality, right? The world is full of imperfection. People are full of imperfection. That's just kind of the deal. That's a completely unrealistic ideal to have, is that, well, I have to be perfect. I'm going to worry about being perfect. No one expects perfection from another person. What they expect is you to be a human being, and so just be a human being. The other thing we will stop worrying about, let's just pledge right now, raise our hand, say it with me. We're going to stop worrying about the economy, all right? We're going to stop worrying about that. We're going to stop worrying about the economy and the market and where rates are going and where what inventory is doing. No, that's not to say that we're not going to be tuned into it. That's not going to say we're going to be curious about it. That's not to say that we're not going to pay attention to it. For sure, we're going to read about it and study it, educate ourselves on it, be well versed on it, be able to articulate things like that to our clients, but we're not going to worry about it, right? That's a whole different thing, right? Is when you worry about the economy, when you worry what that's going to mean to you and your business, it's not effective because all that does is just freezes you up, right? So when you worry about it, you're worried about something totally out of your control. And here's the thing. You know what the market does? The market has always been the market. Markets cycle like they always do. They cycle up, they cycle down, and markets are always working to seek balance, right? And markets are always changing and evolving. So as things slow down, what you know is that someday they're going to pick back up. And when they really pick up at a high rate, what you know is they're going to slow down at some point, because that's just what markets do. But you know what? There's always opportunity in every single market. There are always people to help. There are always people who need you, especially need someone who's really good, always, right? So regardless of whatever the economy's doing, couldn't we just take some comfort in knowing that no matter what, there's always a chance to help out. There's always a chance to add value. There's always someone to help out and work with, regardless of whatever cycle the economy happens to be in, right? At whatever point of the cycle the economy happens to be in, right? So we're going to get over that, right? So we're going to stop worrying about what other people think, being perfect, and we're going to stop worrying about the economy, all right? No more worry. Instead, we're going to do two things. We're going to focus on the outcomes that we do want. So if worry is a prayer for or a focus on what you don't want, how about we flip that around and just put a lot of energy focus on what is it that we do want? All right, this is what I want. Are you like writing that down in the morning? This is what I want. This is my goal. This is my intention. This is the outcome that I want to create. This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to make happen. And can you also focus on what you are sure of? Like even saying sentences over and over in your head that start with, you know what, I am sure of. I am sure of these people. I am sure of these skills. I'm sure of these relationships. I am sure of these experiences. I'm sure of my work ethic. I'm sure of the fact that I've always been able to make things happen and to keep moving forward. Like I'm so sure of that. Instead of starting every sentence with, oh my gosh, I'm not sure. Okay, we're not going to do that. All right, just say to ourselves, I'm sure of. These are all the things I'm sure of, and those are all going to be true statements, right? We're not making that up. They're all totally true statements. So what is it that you're sure of? Repeat that over and over again. So I want you to go back. Let's go back to that metaphor, that image of the kid on the diving board. All right, so now imagine that kid on the edge of that diving board saying, okay, I am focused on the outcome that I want. And they may not say that if they're a kid. That sounded like kind of a formal way to say it. But that kid's like, you know what? I want to have fun. All right. I want to have fun. I want to do something adventurous. I want to do something new. I love doing that. And I love to have to play and have fun. I want that. And you know what? I'm sure of so many things. I'm sure that I'm going to be fine. I'm sure that my parent would not try to talk me into something that would be dangerous for me or harmful to me. I'm sure that they're going to catch me in the water. I'm sure that I'm going to be able to get back to the edge of the pool. I'm sure also that it's probably going to be a little scary. And also I'm sure that that's going to feel really exciting. I'm sure of all those things. So when that kid is on that diving board saying those things to themselves, which by the way are all true, what's that kid going to do? That kid is going to take action. That kid is going to jump, right? So what I want you doing is jumping. I don't want you frozen on the edge of that diving board, all wound up in worry. I want you taking action, right? I want you diving in. So just get sure of all the things that you are sure of. Get so focused on what you want, and you're going to overcome this worry. Okay, I hope this was helpful. This podcast was brought to you by my mastermind called Thrive. You need to join. Come on in there because we do all kinds of mindset lessons in addition to showing you firsthand what's working for other realtors across the country. That's something I'm focused on in particular right now within Thrive. So if you're sitting around going, gosh, I wonder what would work. I wonder what's working for other people. I need some new ideas, some new strategies, some new motivation, some new energy. Guess what? Join Thrive. Go to yourplacetothrive.com. get signed up, come on in. We'll get you going, and you will have some great outcomes like other people are having. Okay, thank you so much for engaging with this podcast. It means the world to me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And in the meantime, enjoy life on the leading edge. Bye.